Yes, yesterday at the 7-Eleven or whatever the hell convenience store it was, I was offered by the young masked tattooed woman there some product that they were doing for some contest. And I looked at the ingredients and I held it to her and I said, "This is why I'm not going to do it. All the artificial ingredients." And then I said, on my theme here, it says my theme, that's the big thing for me, for Kyle R., is the difference and the distinction between making the distinction clear that's there already in the definitions of the words artificial and real, or natural. It's the difference between lies or deception and truth, honesty. Man-made is fake. Nature, naturally produced, not by the hands of man, is real, natural. So, I just mentioned real quick to the young woman how it's important to know the distinction between real and fake, real and artificial. You know, I go for natural ingredients. Basically, so I was saying, I go for natural, not artificial. And which isn't to say that it's not to be black and white with this. It's not to say that, because there is the middle gray area there. It's not black and white, but the black and white are the extreme limits, the definitions, the antonyms, the antinames, the opposites, opposite positions. And then there's the middle ground between. So if you don't know anyway, I obviously didn't go into all this with the freaking convenience store young woman there, and she was like an automaton, with a mask and the everything. And she goes, and her response when I said it's important to know the distinction between natural and artificial, because the difference between that is the difference between man-made and God-made. God-made is natural, man-made is artificial. And then she said, "Well, I don't have," through the mask, I don't know anything about that. I'm a Wiccan." And she was probably thinking she was talking to someone who's a churchgoer. She was assuming that I'm a churchgoer because I use the term God singular like that, and that I'm a Bible thumper, that I follow the Christian so-called creed, or maybe even the Jewish or the Muslim. She was maybe making that assumption that I didn't know anything about her religion, her tag that she's put on herself. I'm a Wiccan. I don't know. She thinks that she doesn't need to know anything about that. Well, what I said was, well, I know what Wicca is. I know the word comes from the wick on the candle, and it's related to witch. It's where witch comes from, and wizard. And originally it was a male magician, the name Wicca, witch. So I said all that to her, and I said, and in your religion, you got the God and the so-called they put the term the article, al in front, the God and the goddess. And they sound so fucking pretentious and pompous when they say it, I realize now. And I'm glad I never got pulled into that, because I was getting pulled into it. So, what was her response to that? Well, I couldn't see much of her response because her face was covered. But basically, she didn't say anything. She couldn't say. She was just like, because I stumped her and I threw her off because she wasn't expecting me. She was not expecting the Blue Rose Task Force. She was not expecting Dell Computer. No. No one is. And that's, I would say, the good news here, because it's we're sneaking up on them. They don't expect us. We're not the Spanish Inquisition. No one expects the Spanish Inquisition. They don't expect us Y'all, they do not know what's coming for them as they're trying to build their grotesque abomination known as the Great Reset and their New World Order. We better build our New World Order based on love and honesty and caring, because if we don't, we're going to get the lying, same old world order, old freaking despotic plutocrats, oligarchs, on steroids, with their AI prison. You want that? Is that what you want your kids to grow up in and the future to be? A freaking dystopian shit show on steroids, like I said? I don't think you do. Unless you're a fucking psycho or an idiot. Like, a lot of people these days, a lot of people who aren't vigilant and who don't give two shits about true freedom and about living their own lives without having a Leviathan central government in everything that they do, in all of their affairs. I don't want it. And the young people I've met over the years said, "Oh, I don't mind being watched all the time. I have nothing to hide." Oh, yeah? Well, that's not what this is about. I don't care if you have nothing to hide. That's not what this is about. This is not just about oh my goodness. I mean, the children, the adult children everywhere in this world today. The Peter Pan syndrome is everywhere. I don't want to grow up. I don't want to take responsibility. I want to keep on voting and believing in my big daddy. I need big daddy to take care of me, my big brother, my big sister, my big Kamala. Government is the Leviathan. It is a criminal. The United States federal government is a criminal syndicate, and I am protected. I have a right to say that by the law. Do you understand that? Do you understand that that's actually the thing that has made this country better? Is that particular, the First Amendment and the first 10 amendments to the Constitution known as the Bill of Rights. Do you realize that that's the only fucking thing that makes this land and its law any better, has made it any better? But it's going away into it's going down the fucking shitter. Do you realize that? Do you realize what's been done to this nation? And when that it's being demolished as we speak, that we're living through a controlled demolition. If you don't, then you need to get your head out of your ass, out of the sand. Be insulted all you like, be offended all you like. Because I'm speaking up. Go ahead. Keep shooting the messenger. See what that gets you. So here's our field trip for tomorrow. We're all signed up and ready to go. Old Sturbridge Village, here we come. We'll get well caffeinated. We'll take the coffee with us and go back in time to the 19th century. We're going to go way, way beyond 1949. We're going to read a little bit of from an author who to whom the year 1949 was very important today. In a book that I had never, an author who I had not actually heard of, who, although he's well known, but the book was just dropped on me synchronistically by Ken, which is, it's the 50-year retrospective, revised and expanded Ellison, the essential Ellison. L is on. Just a coincidence. All of it's just coincidence, Sonny Jim. There's nothing to CAI here. No. This all makes. This is all. It's none of your business. What's going on in high places? That's not your business. What's going on in the ivory towers of the Ellites. And their symbols and signs of domination and control and communication and with all their wink nudges and codes and gematria, letters and numbers, none of that's your business. Kabbalah, that's not your business. That's their business. They've monopolized it. It's not your concern. Go back to bed. Go back to watching your American Gladiators, America. Go back to dead. Bed is dead. It's when you get horizontal of Horus on the horizon, and then you get up vertical, upright. That's alive. Dead. Or you can even see it in the mirror. You can look at them at the same freaking time, because they exist together. They go together, alive and dead, like all opposite positions. And any physician who doesn't know about that and who doesn't have any interest in helping you psychologically and emotionally as well as physically is not a doctor. What they're practicing right now is it's a materialist cult of money, power, money. Putting a dollar sign on so-called healthcare is not, it takes it out of the domain of care and into the domain of business. That's truth. That's just how it is. You do not, so how are the doctors gonna live if they don't get paid? They get, in a sane world, they get a stipend, and they get, just like all functionaries, all people who serve a function, a very important function, albeit, but a function nonetheless, one function in an association or a society, they get, a determined rate, just like everyone else, or whatever. You don't even have money. Why do you need money? Why do you need a money system? Why do you cut out the middleman? Money, it begins with M, like media, like middle, because it's an intermediary. And it's artificial. It's man-made. You see money in nature? No, you don't. You don't see the squirrels presenting anything in exchange for their nuts to the tree or the ground. And you don't see any other squirrel like hoarding nuts and then charging something else or asking for whatever. It's just, the absurdity of money and its arbitrariness is made clear by the fact that this one right here is the exact same in its scale and in everything other than, with this one here I'm about to put down, they're the same. But for the dead white aristocrat on the front, you'll notice how much bigger they are. They've made the heads of the presidents now. They're bursting out of the freaking frame. And look at that. He's got Federal Reserve right on either side of his giant head. And this is the guy here, Jackson, who was fighting the private banks supposedly. So look, they're the same piece of paper, but this one's got a 2-0, so it's 20 of those. This Federal Reserve, which is a racket, just like the courts where you play tennis with a tennis racket. It's an evil, wicked game, and it's an artificial game. Hocus pocus. That's their game. The elites. They smoke and mirrors. It's the Wizard of Oz. That book was telling you in the movie, not as potently in the movie, but it's there that money is and government, the president of the president of America, United States, the president of a corporation, and that the Civil War destroyed the Union, and this is not America. Here on Thursday, March 24th, 2022. This is the land of Oz, ounce. And it's a false dichotomy. Capitalism versus socialism is a false dichotomy, always has been, just like US versus USSR. What they're doing is they're intending to through this global conflagration to end all conflagrations. They're going to pull off here, which will cut down the population, hopefully for them, not for me or anyone else, by 90%, down to 500 million, and then they will say that conflagration showed that the independent nation states don't work, and we need a global governing body. We need one world government. They might not, who knows, maybe they don't even have to maybe they don't even have to have the hot war in order to get it. But I doubt that. It's not going to stop till you wise up. It's not what you thought when you first began it. You got what you want, but you can hardly stand it, though. By now you know. It's not going to stop till you wise up. He chose peace, they marked him for death. That's what happened. The majority of people still can't even face that. They can't face this unspeakable truth of what's happened here, that this is a conquered, colonized nation. Conquered by private wealth, by private industry, private power, and all whose members are dark occultists, so-called black magicians, evil magicians who use spells, language, word spells to program and lock people out of heaven. And keep us at God's feet and out of God's head, away from God's head and God's toe jam forever. Geoengineering, fake weather, artificial weather to keep the business going another day. You used to call me poison, like poison ivy.